Okay, think back maybe 5 years ago. If you ran an MSP, a managed service provider, where was compliance on your list? Probably somewhere near the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe next to finally figure out those Excel macros.
Right. It was something you'd deal with if a client absolutely insisted, an
Yeah.
afterthought.
Totally an afterthought.
But fast forward to today, 2025, and wow, that whole world has been completely flipped on its head.
It really has.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling this huge shift, how compliance for MSPs went from, a side note to basically a baseline trust factor.
And even more, a business essential.
Exactly. So our mission here is to unpack why this change is so critical, what it means for you if you rely on an MSP, and maybe surprisingly how this, let's be honest, seemingly dry topic can actually be a competitive advantage.
You really hit on something crucial there. MSPs, they're now right at the heart of their clients' data security, their IT operations. And with that central role comes this growing, just undeniable expectation. It's not enough anymore to just provide the tech.
Yeah.
Now, you're expected to ensure solid compliance with some pretty strict regulations. Often for your clients, yes, but also for yourselves. It's table stakes now.
That's such a dramatic change, though. Side note to business essential. What really pushed it over the edge? Was it like a few massive breaches or just this slow buildup of pressure? Did regulators finally just say, enough?
Well, it's definitely a mix of things, but the main driver, it's simple, really. Regulated industries are now explicitly demanding it.
Which industries are we talking about?
Oh, the big ones. Healthcare, government contracting, anyone dealing with global data services. They need their MSPs to meet these strict compliance frameworks.
So it's not just a suggestion anymore.
No, not at all. They won't even consider working with an MSP that can't show they understand and follow these rules. It's a prerequisite.
And I assume these aren't just vague guidelines.
Definitely not. We're talking specific mandated frameworks. Like in the U.S., you've got NIST, CSF for cyber risk, CMMC, which is huge for defense work.
Right, the defense contractors need that one.
Absolutely. Then HIPAA for healthcare data, obviously, and DFARS for other federal suppliers.
Okay.
And if you look over in the UK and EU, you're dealing with GDPR, of course, Cyber Essentials, plus that's a UK government thing, and NIS2, which tightens cybersecurity for essential services.
NANZ?
Down in Australia and New Zealand, it's the Essential 8. It's a set of strategies to block cyber attacks. And these aren't just, best practices. They're requirements, real requirements.
When you say requirements, the flip side, ignoring them, it's not just some abstract risk anymore, is it?
Yeah.
We're talking serious, business-ending penalties.
Oh, completely. The source material is clear on this. Losing
Right.
contracts is just the start.
You mentioned some figures earlier.
Yeah, the U.S. Department of Defense, they've flat out said CMMC is mandatory for defense contracts,
Ew.
no exceptions.
Wow.
And HHS, they enforce high pay penalties up to $1.5 million per year.
Ouch.
And GDPR, those fines can hit €20 or even 4% of global turnover, whichever is higher. It can absolutely be a business-ending punch.
So it's not just being unable to compete, it could actually mean shutting down.
For a smaller or even mid-sized MSP, absolutely. But even for larger ones, it means you just can't bid on work in these regulated sectors. You're cutting off huge potential revenue streams.
Okay, so why the intense focus on MSPs specifically? Why are regulators zooming in on them?
Well, it really boils down to this. MSPs often act as, let's call them gateways.
Gateways, how so?
Think about it. They have access to the sensitive data of multiple businesses. So a single security slip-up, a breach at the MSP level, it's not just one company's disaster.
I see. It could instantly make dozens of their clients non-compliant too.
Exactly. Simultaneously, MSPs have sort of become this new potential single point of failure in that whole digital supply chain. And regulators, they've noticed.
So the direct consequences of that pressure, what are we seeing? Stricter audits.
Definitely stricter auditing of MSP security practices, for one, but also mandatory proof of framework alignment before you can even sign a contract.
Before you even get the business.
Right. And it even impacts things like cyber insurance. Getting that coverage, which is critical today, right? It now often hinges directly on your compliance status.
No compliance, no insurance, or maybe just crazy expensive insurance.
Both are possible. Significantly more expensive, certainly, which eats right into your margins. So when you zoom out,
Yeah.
MSP compliance isn't just about protecting clients anymore. It's fundamentally about protecting your own business model. Survival, really.
Okay, self-preservation. Got it. So we know why it's crucial. The stakes are sky high. But let's pull back the curtain a bit. What does compliance actually mean day to day for an MSP? It sounds really technical and maybe overwhelming.
It can sound that way, but let's break it down. At its core, it means putting in place and, crucially, maintaining specific security controls, policies, and really good documentation, all aligned with those regulations we talked about.
And these controls, they're tangible things.
Oh, yeah, very tangible. We're talking about enforcing multi-factor authentication, MFA, everywhere it matters. Implementing strict access controls, who gets to see what data,
Okay. Basic but essential.
Essential, exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, encryption. Data needs to be encrypted when it's stored, that's at rest, and when it's moving across networks in transit. Critical for sensitive info.
Right.
And comprehensive audit logging. You need a clear trail of who did what, when. It's vital for investigations, but also just for proving you're doing things right.
And handling breaches.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Having solid breach notification procedures ready to go. It's about being prepared, being transparent, and reacting fast if the worst happens. That's non-negotiable.
It sounds like a lot to manage. We've talked about fines, but let's focus on the risks of not doing this. You mentioned potential insolvency earlier. What else happens when MSPs let compliance slide? What's the real-world damage?
Well, beyond the fines, which can be huge, the impact goes way deeper. Contracts getting terminated literally overnight. We've seen that happen.
Just like that.
Just like that. And the reputational hit. That can be permanent. Sometimes that hurts even more than the money.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Think about it from an MSP owner's perspective. You lose one key client because you messed up on compliance. That might mean you lose that whole sector.
Like if you specialized in healthcare.
Exactly. You build up years of expertise in healthcare or finance, maybe. One compliance failure, and suddenly you're effectively blacklisted. Doors slam shut.
Can you give a specific example?
Sure. Take an MSP that supports doctors' offices but doesn't have proper high-pay controls nailed down. If there's a data breach at one of those practices.
Uh-oh.
The MSP could be found liable right alongside the client. They share the responsibility and the penalties. That's a massive risk.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a level of exposure that, frankly, no MSP focused on growth can afford to take. The cost of not doing it right. It just massively outweighs the investment needed to get compliant.
Okay, so summing up those risks. Lost business, because you can't even bid on RFPs. Huge fines from regulators. And maybe worst of all, lasting damage to your reputation. That's a nasty triple threat.
It really is.
Is it possible, though, that some smaller MSPs might just try to avoid regulated clients altogether, just stick to less complex niches? Or is this compliance wave really hitting everyone?
Well, some might try that, sure. But the reality is almost every industry is getting more regulated about data and cybersecurity.
Even outside healthcare or defense?
Oh, yeah. Think about basic privacy rules like GDPR or even state-level stuff, like in California, CCPA. That impacts almost everyone who holds customer data. So, yeah, this wave, it's pretty much unavoidable.
So trying to hide from it isn't really a strategy.
Not a long-term one, no. And actually, those who lean into it first, they're finding a real advantage, which, brings us to the good news here.
Ah, yes. The silver lining. This sounds like a ton of work, maybe a burden. How do you actually flip that script? How does compliance become a competitive superpower?
Right. It's not just about being compliant. That's the baseline now. The game changer is proving it.
Yeah.
Clearly, effectively, consistently.
Okay, proving it.
MSPs who really master compliance reporting can use that as a serious differentiator, something that actually generates revenue.
How so?
Because you stop being just the IT guys. You position yourself as a strategic partner. You're the one who helps your clients win those tough contracts in regulated industries.
Ah, because the client needs to prove their vendor is compliant.
Exactly. You help them satisfy demanding auditors. You help them get that crucial cyber insurance policy approved. You become part of their compliance story.
That makes sense. It elevates the relationship.
Totally. And those compliance conversations, they open doors to bigger, better, longer-term contracts.
Right.
Especially in those heavily regulated fields. Your service shifts from being seen as just an IT cost.
It's something essential for their business.
Precisely. A mission-critical investment. You become indispensable. A real partner.
Okay, I get the concept, but how does an MSP actually do this? How does compliance reporting lead to growth day to day? What does that look like?
It really comes down to visibility and trust. Imagine this. You walk into a client meeting. You're not just talking about server uptime. You pull up a dashboard
Okay.
and you show them live proof that every single HIPAA control or CMMC control, whatever applies, is being met for their specific environment, updated constantly, maybe even daily.
Wow, that's powerful, isn't it?
By delivering clear, trusted, and ideally automated compliance reports, MSPs build much stronger relationships. Clients feel secure, churn goes way down.
And new opportunities open up.
For sure. Think about recurring revenue streams. There are tools out there now, like Enhance.io, as mentioned in the source, that help automate gathering the evidence. They let MSPs show clients exactly how their security posture stacks up against specific regulations.
So take some of the manual slog out of it.
A lot of it, ideally. This kind of real-time visibility lets MSPs demonstrate compliance outcomes confidently. They're not just saying, trust us, we're compliant. They're showing it with hard proof.
Right. Proof, not promises.
Exactly. And that turns PertFIF compliance itself into a valuable service, something you can scale without burning out your best technical people, letting them focus on core IT problem solving.
Okay, so the big takeaway here seems really clear. Compliance. It's just not optional anymore for MSPs, not even close.
Nope. It's a core business function now.
Right. And it's a key differentiator when you're bidding for work, and it directly builds or breaks client trust. It feels like if you hesitate on this, you're going to get left behind pretty quickly.
I think that's absolutely right. By embedding solid compliance reporting right into what they offer, MSPs aren't just meeting the standard anymore.
They're setting it.
They're setting it. They become the leaders. It's about being proactive, getting ahead of the curve, not just reacting when something goes wrong.
So final thought for our listeners then. We've talked a lot about MSPs, but thinking about how deeply integrated they are in basically all modern businesses. What does this big shift towards mandatory compliance mean for any company that relies on outside providers for critical data or IT? Does knowing this change how you should look at the vendors you work with?
That's a really important question for everyone to consider.